One of my heroes as a child was Smokey the Bear. We lived in the state of Washington. In fact, we lived in the foothills of the Cascade Mountain Range, and I loved running through the woods, exploring, fishing, and whatever else I could find to do. It was not uncommon for my dad to work out of town. One summer, he was working in eastern Washington on the Washington-Oregon border. So he decided he would take the family and we could stay the summer at the state campground. I was so excited. While I was there, I became an official park ranger helper because I helped him build a part of an amphitheater. But that was only part because I was really excited. I got to meet Smokey the Bear. When I looked up and saw him, I was the happiest kid alive. Do you know what he said to me? He said, "Remember, only you can prevent forest fires." Now, that was one of the happiest moments of my life. Now, fast forward, in 1999, my wife and I had moved out of the suburbs of Phoenix metropolitan area to the White Mountains of Arizona. We had agreed to be associate missionaries on the Apache reservation. When people think of Arizona, they typically think of desert and cactus, but we lived in the third largest concentration of ponderosa pines in the country. It was at 7,000 feet and it was incredibly beautiful, but it was still Arizona, and Arizona is dry. We had purchased a house across the street from Woodland Lake Park, a park of about 100 acres. One day I was driving up to the house and noticed that a police officer was leaving my driveway with my son still standing in the driveway. You know, I kind of knew this couldn't be good. I went into the house and asked my wife what had happened, and apparently he and a friend of his took some of my .22 shells and decided to empty them of their gunpowder, and then they decided to go light the gunpowder on a rock and watch them burn. Well, one of the neighbors saw what they were doing and called 911. They sent 3 fire trucks, the fire chief, and a bunch of police cars, and my wife had quite an exciting day. Now, I knew I had made a parenting mistake by not making sure that Smokey the Bear was my child's hero. James gives a version of Smokey the Bear's "Only you can prevent forest fires." He said, "But a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire. It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it is set on fire by hell itself." You don't have to be alive long to recognize your words can create all sorts of problems. James uses a forest fire to illustrate that once you've started, it will spread all on its own and will be difficult to stop. Living the nothing is impossible life becomes a reality as we learn to control what we say. Great lives are built and lived by making one good decision at a time. So calibrate this week by asking the Lord to help you keep your speech in check. The Holy Spirit can help you not say things that cause harm, but you need to ask, then be obedient when the Holy Spirit says, "Don't say that." Think about it this way. Only you and the Holy Spirit can prevent forest fires with your words. Until next week, remember, don't just take life as it comes, calibrate and shape it as you go. Thank you for following Calibrate. Share it with someone you know. Take a moment and review us and give us a good rating on iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, or YouTube.